Alright, hello, this is going to be a review of December 7th Asia session. Our hot pairs were the JPY pairs, NZD, Euro, and CAD. So we're going to go through these because these were the best, and then we had some other trades we were looking at. We'll go through at the end because they're less interesting. So what we had was on NZD JPY, we had this 4-hour area sponsoring a higher high and break above. We're looking at that 50% of that area. Price came down to this level, and let's go to 3-minute. And what happened was it tapped around here, it broke structure. Didn't really give us any good cues, any good change of character and then break of structure until we formed this liquidity here in late New York and early Asia, basically Sydney liquidity grab, and then it grabs that liquidity around 2000, however you say that, and then on here, we'll go to this 1 minute. You can see price manipulated, and then it broke structure or changing character, and then it retraced, tapped it, broke structure again, and then you had an entry off of that, and I believe this entry was supposed to be like that. So that would have been your entry. I didn't see this because I wasn't watching it, but this was definitely a valid entry that went almost 1 to 4, well, went well over 1 to 14. So that is how we got that. No real fundamental base, pretty much just it was by the 50% of this 4-hour area, and we saw our entry validity, and we entered off that. Manipulation and break of structure, that was definitely enough to take this trade. So with that being said, we're going to go to Euro JPY now. So Euro JPY, kind of similar story. We have this 4-hour area, made this higher high, we retraced to it, spent a bit of time near that area though, which I didn't like. Yeah, so we spent some time here, but this was during obviously late New York and early Asia, which is not ideal at all. So it makes sense that it would just be slow moving in here. Then we get this nice break up. Okay, and this is where things start to get interesting because we get this manipulation of all of this New York stuff, and we get this strong impulsive break upwards, right? So then what I thought after that was it would come back down to this area after this nice impulse. I got interested after this nice big impulse here. And that's when I saw this kind of point of interest. Did I see it on the 30-minute? Come on. Yeah, so it tapped this area and then it made a 30-minute higher high. So I was looking for it to retrace to this candle in particular right here. And it did retrace back in there, but not enough to get an entry. Pretty sure, right? So we'll just get rid of this yellow for right now. Yeah, so this was that 30-minute point of interest. It tapped in the very entry, but never moved deeper. So then after I saw this, right, so I saw it tap. We had this break of structure, retest, and this big move up. That was when I started to get interested in this move after seeing this big break up here. And I was looking for it to retrace down into here, but that never happened. So you can see my limit was set there. I did set a limit there. It never got filled. And that was that with Euro JPY. That one was a bit of a bummer. Now, let's go to CAD JPY for the sake of time. So CAD JPY, we have this big daily area. I know on the 4-hour, it was on the daily. And then on the 4 hour from the days before, we saw it tap in, move up, tap in, move up. Just kind of chopping around here, trying to play this larger range. So this area that sponsored this huge move up, right? That was the area we were looking at. Price was tapping into this very sponsor area and mitigating some of this liquidity formed here from the past two New York sessions. This trade didn't take because I didn't really like that point of interest, but it turned out to be valid, and I'll tell you why. It's important because of the liquidity grab. So basically, what it did was late New York, it formed liquidity here, and then in Asia, we came down, we took that liquidity, and then we broke structure, and then we could have got an entry off in there. And we're going to go into this on the lower time frames and show you what could have happened. So we came down, we took this was the liquidity. We came down, we took this liquidity here. Boom, broke the structure, came back, I guess made another liquidity break, right? Broke this, retest, higher high, entry at the sponsor area. There's all this imbalance in here, so this would be a little bit sketchier, but you could have, I did before. I had a trade here like that, and it got taken out. It was on demo, obviously, but it got taken out. That was a loss. Then it came back down to this area, which was the better area looking back at it because you have this imbalance. It was the area that manipulated, and it just tapped this area, sponsor area of this big move up. So then it tapped here. This was the 50% of that area. Okay, and then do we get a re-entry? We get this break up, retrace, break back up. Do we get a re-entry? You do, actually. You get a re-entry right in here. So you could have just set a limit here, waited for that re-entry, and got in on this trade as well. And this trade kind of surprised me that it even worked out. That's why I didn't take it. But if you were to take this trade, you would have had a 7, almost an 8 risk on the full one, and about a 13 on the 50% of that area. So that was a trade that could have worked out, and because of the liquidity and being only in Asia and we're tapping a key 1 hour point of interest, you could definitely get a good move off that. So that's what you need to be thinking about is, okay, this is in Asia, right? We know Asia doesn't move all that much, but because it's a JPY pair and it's tapping this key 1 hourly area, and it formed liquidity there and took it and broke structure, we could definitely get a nice move up to at least here. So that was my thinking with this trade, but obviously I didn't take it. Now let's move on to these. Those were the best trades. These are trades that kind of didn't work out. I'm trying to keep this video short, but it was quite a packed session. So what happened here? So what we had was it came down. We know it's overall bullish. We saw it retrace to the 50% of this key point of interest area, and it came. I remember now. It came down. It reacted off this, made this 30-minute push higher. Tried to enter off that, but it pushed higher again. And I tried to enter in here, but it just never fully retraced back down there. And we're going to look at that real quickly. So this was, the JPYs were on fire. So it came down into this. This was the original 30-minute point of interest, right? It reacted off this area. We got that 30-minute break of structure. It came down, it broke this, retraced, and we got that higher high. I guess you could have tried to enter off of this, right? Because you have this break of structure and then this break of structure, but it was rather weak. So I didn't like it, so I didn't enter off that, but it would have paid. And then I saw push up higher. I was trying to get in off of this secondary area, but you can see right here, it just never came back and tested it. And that's it for the session. So now, moving on. That's why we didn't take any trades on that. USD CAD. USD CAD was coming into this key area. this 30-minute area right here. It was a pretty good area, but we just didn't get the confirmation on the lower time frame. See, it came aggressively right up into there. That's not what we like to see. And then we got this minor break of structure in here, but no retracement and continuation, so we didn't trade it. Keep waiting. I guess you could have tried to say, well, it broke this and then retraced here. It broke here, retraced here, but that wasn't very clean. So I guess you could have got an entry in here, but it would have came up and stopped you out. I didn't like the liquidity up here. It just didn't look clean to me, so I didn't take it. And that's that with that one. USD Chef. It was this one right here. We had this 30-minute point of interest coming down. Looking back on it, it already had broken this 30-minute right here. So taking a trade off of this one was a bad idea, and it wasn't the best one. But I thought about doing it anyway. That was kind of an error on my analysis, to be honest with you, and was probably why this didn't work out. This trade was not taken, but I saw this break, tap into it, break, retrace, and a slight lower low, ever so slight, so the entry would have been here. But I just didn't like that. It wasn't as confirmed enough for me. It was terrible price action, and this was a rather aggressive uptrend. I was going to target this liquidity below here, but I just didn't like it, so I didn't take the trade, and good thing I didn't, because it just shot right through it, not very surprisingly. Last one is NZD USD. This was the only trade I actually took, which broke me even. And what we're seeing here was price tapped into this 4-hour area right here. We tapped this 4-hour area, broke structure, coming back into it. Look to enter. We got a 30-minute break of structure down here, and we were going to enter off this last one right here. But the issue was that there was this demand here, which it respected. So coming down to entry time frame, I have to start remembering not to do that. Okay, so it came its entry time frame. It tapped this area, and we got a break of structure, a retrace, and a break away. So I looked to enter off that. But I didn't really think this was the best price action. It was getting late in Asia at about 9:30 or 21:30 at night. Not my usual time. So I took the trade, but I set my stop or break even right aggressively as soon as it broke this low. So I was very uncertain about the trade, and it came in and broke me even. And then eventually went against me. But I was taken out of the trade. So that was that. This was the December 7th Asia session. Very packed, eventful trading session, and there were lots of good opportunities. This should be a good video to learn from in the future. Alright, gonna stop it there.